grow massively. But I think there's now another community forming, which is the institutional DeFi community.
I want to kind of step back from drilling into one thing and talking about USDC generally, and just reflect on the future that we're building together. And that future is what I call the internet financial system. We're building from the ground up an entirely internet native financial system, where from the base layer of money itself, expressed as stablecoin money, through every single market structure and primitive, we're building up the infrastructure for the economy in the age of the internet. And that is what this industry represents.
Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. What a freaking intro to today's video breakdown. They are literally in the process of building out the new internet financial system, and they are telling you this right to your face. Buckle up your seatbelts, because in today's video breakdown, we are going to be proving to you all yet again that everything that we've been touting to you all here on the CYPRX YouTube is coming into fruition 110%, and you need to be paying attention. Everything that we've been discussing in this yield playlist on the CYPRX YouTube, go check it out, watch every single video thoroughly so you have a general idea of what it is that we're discussing here is evolving and coming into fruition at a rapid pace. And again, you need to remain adaptive. You need to be educated on what is taking place, or you risk being left behind. The mindset that has existed prior to or before 2022 is not the same mindset and approach you can have to the digital asset ecosystem now in 2025. Things are changing. Oh my goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so hyped to make this video breakdown for you guys. This is going to be such a freaking banger. So if you guys want some free content, I've curated a playlist where we discuss and talk about DeFi, we discuss and talk about yield, we discuss and talk about the changing of the financial system. We talked about in this playlist Trump talking about creating a level playing field, how that level playing field is through the utilization of DeFi and integrating it into this new financial system. You got to go and wake up. And so today's video breakdown, we're going to solidify that perspective. I've shown you guys countless video proof that they are telling you all this to your face. That particular video breakdown of Jeremy Allaire on stage from just 4 months ago, people, has 300 views. You would think that a video where a gentleman on stage of one of the largest stablecoin providers on the face of this earth telling everybody that they're building out a new financial system would have more views. This proves my point that people are distracted. People are sedated by misinformation. They're also misguided by people on the internet that are trying to get them to fixate their attention on these high-end price predictions and Fibonacci extension technical analysis. All of that is irrelevant. Learn how to keep and maintain your wealth through the utilization of DeFi, and you never have to sell your digital assets in this new financial system that they are building. And that is who's going to come out on top. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. Not the people who sell for outdated fiat dead currency.
All of the fiat money in the world is depreciating. Some a little bit and some faster. And if you count all the fiat money and you calculate the depreciation that they have, it's a gigantic value.
Oh my, wow. Okay, so we got to back it up because I'm coming at you guys with a lot of energy. Let me show you all that they're telling you all this on stage from recent fundamental breakdowns and panel discussions that they've had, meetings with the freaking president telling you guys this. If you do not know what this book is, okay? If you guys do not know what this book is, you need to go grab a copy of it. This is The Creature from Jekyll Island. Actually, as a matter of fact, hold on. Let's back up one more second, okay? We're going to get into this book here in just a second, but I got to give a shout out to somebody on X for posting this because this is just another wake-up call, okay? So Hold Monkey, or Hodl Monkey, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, went on to say this: yet another phenomenal YouTube video from C to Manacor. Watch this. If you want news that barely anybody has, follow this individual. I'm not an affiliate or a member of his group, but it blows my mind that he gives you this info away for free. And they reposted my last YouTube video, okay? This is why, okay, if you can imagine after watching this video breakdown, this is what we give to individuals for free. Imagine what it's going to be like in the private community. And I'm not trying to get you guys to go out there and say, oh, go join my private community. No, if you want to, if that suits your interest and you want to take your education further, it's there for you. But at a minimum, after you watch this video breakdown, do not click off this video and not go do further research. Whether the further research that you partake in involves joining our private community, or you just go out there and independently do the research yourself, do the research. Oh my goodness, if you don't, I promise you guys, you risk falling behind, because eventually you're going to be manipulated by these influencers on the internet that are telling you guys to sell for fiat, and fiat is dying. And the banks know that. They are all about the transition over to this digitally native infrastructure. And just wow. It's so crazy that people don't understand this. So now let's get on to this book real quick. Okay. The Creature from Jekyll Island. If you guys do not know about this book, all right, The Creature from Jekyll Island and JP Morgan's involvement with the creation of the Federal Reserve. All right. JP Morgan and a handful of other powerful bankers not only promoted the idea of a central bank, i.e. the Federal Reserve, but also help provide the initial funding to establish it. According to The Creature from Jekyll Island, JP Morgan used his vast financial influence to promote the need for a central banking system, especially after the Panic of 1907. And the Panic of 1907 exposed the weakness in the existing setup, all right? And him and his associates helped convince government officials and the general public that a central bank controlled by a small group of powerful bankers would help prevent a future financial crisis. All right. You need to go read this book, because in today's video breakdown, I'm going to prove to you guys, again, individuals on stage that just recently met with the president, everything that I'm trying to show you guys is happening full circle. All right. We've talked about in previous yield video breakdowns on that yield playlist on the CYPRX YouTube. Go watch it. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We talked about Trump's last term. He mentioned that we're all going to be operating on a level playing field. I showed you guys physical proof in previous video breakdowns that Trump Jr. went on to say that DeFi puts the power of the banks back in the hands of the people, right? It brings fairness to the financial system, all right? Check this out. This is going to freaking blow your mind. So this was posted 10 days ago from Chainlink. As you all know, the co-founder, Sergey of Chainlink, met with the president in the Crypto White House Summit. Listen to what he freaking says here, keeping in mind that Jeremy Allaire 4 months ago just told you guys that they're building out a new financial system from the ground up. I'm so freaking excited to show you guys this information. Again, this is the free stuff that we give. This is crazy. This is surface level information right here that anybody can dive into, yet the vast majority of the population is completely sideswiped and distracted from what is actually happening right now. Check this out. Take a second and listen.
The first thing that struck me was the seniority of the government representatives in the room, even before the president joined us. So you had the Secretary of Commerce, then you had the Secretary of the Treasury, you had David Sachs, you had the Congressional Whip Tom Emmer, you had Brian Stile, the chair of the Subcommittee on Digital Assets, you had a number of other key government representatives, key people from the regulatory side at the SEC and the CFTC. So very, very senior people. These were not just their representatives. Their representatives and the people below them were also there, but the very, very key senior people were there themselves. So some of the common themes at the Crypto Summit were around Bitcoin and the Bitcoin reserve, since that recently happened. How should that evolve? Other common themes were the process of proper regulation and making sure that there are actually clear regulations that allow fintechs and financial institutions and DeFi protocols to all participate in the US financial system with legal clarity, and DeFi protocols to all participate in the US financial system with legal clarity.
Boom, drops the mic. He literally just admitted that they discussed and talked about regulatory clarity, DeFi protocols, and financial institutions being able to operate in the new internet financial system. Word for word, the exact same thing that Jeremy Allaire just said to you guys on stage 4 months ago that they are currently building out. This physically proves that DeFi is going to play a role in that, which we've been trying to get you guys to see, which is exactly why we try to push for education here. Educate yourselves. Think about all the lack of financial literacy amongst regular, everyday, average participants about the current financial system, right? They don't teach you about this in school because they want to keep you sedated. They want to keep your mindset suppressed, and they don't want you to make generational wealth. And that was in the traditional financial system. Again, JP Morgan's involvement with the traditional financial system over 100 years ago, okay? All of that is happening now for the first time yet again in this new internet age of this digital transformation. Educate yourself, and DeFi is going to play a part of that. Learn how to generate yield, learn how to lend, learn how to borrow, learn how to be a liquidity provider, learn how to put the power of the banks back in your hand through an internet connection and a mobile device. All right. Okay. So you heard him say DeFi protocols, regulatory clarity, and the ability for financial institutions to operate with such regulatory clarity on DeFi protocols in this new internet financial system, right? And if you guys remember, I played a video clip in a previous video breakdown of this gentleman sitting next to a BlackRock representative leaning over and say that now it's the time for financial institutions to be comfortable participating in DeFi. Take a second and listen.
And in the United States of America, it is now safe and explicitly legal to be a blockchain company. So that's great for us because it's been hard for a few years under the previous regime. But it's also really interesting for organizations like BlackRock, for software developers in TRADFI or in Web2, because now they can feel comfortable holding tokens, participating in DeFi, or building applications for consumers.
Because now they can feel comfortable holding tokens and participating in DeFi. This was uploaded 10 hours ago from the 2025 Digital Asset Summit that just took place in New York, at which President Trump spoke to a crypto summit for the first time ever that a presidential figure addressed a crypto summit. All right. Massive. People need to see what is happening. And again, we're trying to preach to you guys that this is taking place. No bullish moon boy price predictions. We're not telling you guys this is going to happen tomorrow like all the other influencers out there. No, we're trying to get you guys educated so that way you understand how to operate in this space effectively and efficiently moving forward to keep, maintain, and grow your wealth. Focusing on bullish moon boy price predictions and all that stuff was cool back in 2022 and in 2021. But now the times have changed. Let me continue to prove my case. So if we come over here, listen to what Sergey says here about how institutional adoption of DeFi now is actually happening.
I guess first question for Sergey, how are you seeing DeFi and TRADFI working together more? And what are kind of the implications of this?
Yeah, so I think we've been talking about this in our industry for some time, and people have been expecting it for some time, and it hasn't been happening. So people got a little bit desensitized to the idea that institutions and DeFi will start working together. But now it is actually happening.
So you now heard Sergey mention that now this institutional adoption of DeFi is actually happening. Okay, take a second and listen to what Stani says about all of TRADFI assets coming over and being available through DeFi. And he talks about Aave eventually having the potential to provide over 8 billion people with the ability to generate yield.
In sort of way to think about decentralized finance is that it's a very asset agnostic in the sense that whatever financial assets that are issued, for example, in the traditional finance, they're also applicable and can be used in decentralized finance. Decentralized finance is simply a kind of a backbone of financial algorithms, and it essentially means that it's the most efficient way to transact value. And I personally believe that at some point, with the help of tokenization, a lot of this value will be sitting in decentralized finance and will be accessible to the global users. We at Aave, for example, are trying to think about and solve things like how do we produce yield for 8 billion people? What's the future is going to look like with a more decentralized environment where everyone has equal opportunities to participate.
What is he talking about? Equal opportunities to participate, the ability for 8 billion people to generate yield. What did I show you guys in previous yield video breakdowns? President Trump talking about creating a level playing field, right? Donald Trump Jr. talking about how DeFi puts the power of the banks back in the hands of the people and creates fairness in the financial system. You just heard freaking Sergey, the co-founder of Chainlink, who just met with the president.
How should that evolve? Other common themes were the process of proper regulation and making sure that there are actually clear regulations that allow fintechs and financial institutions and DeFi protocols to all participate in the US financial system with legal clarity.
I'm physically proving to you guys. Are you serious right now? Just met with the president at the Crypto White House Summit, and what did he say they talked about? They talked about regulatory clarity, DeFi protocols and financial institutions being able to operate on DeFi protocols in this new internet financial system. You cannot make this stuff up. What I'm showing you guys, nobody else is showing you on the internet right now. I'm putting it together in such a way for you to understand what is happening right directly to your face. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, this video has 1,670 views. There are over 8 billion people on this planet. We are early. We are early. This video is not getting millions of views yet. Millions of attention, millions of clicks, millions of likes. You need to educate yourself on this. You need to, oh my goodness gracious, this is so freaking crazy. Okay, let me finish. All right, so back to JP Morgan, creature of Jekyll Island. I've now shown my case. I've now proved to you guys, devil's in the details. They're telling you all this stuff on stage. Listen to what Sergey says here about how Aave is the new JP Morgan of DeFi.
One thing is that in finance, because it's a matter of creating returns with a certain level of risk, or with as low level of risk as possible, there is a natural conservatism that creates consolidation, where you have things like JP Morgan in the traditional financial system because they are viewed as the most, or one of the 2 or 3 most reliable systems or banks or asset management firms to put your value into, right? So there's always going to be a very large, probably the predominant group in any financial system that wants yield and wants returns, but they want to do it with the highest possible level of reliability and therefore the lowest level of risk. That's just a very natural thing in all financial systems. And so the systems and the protocols in this case that provide that reliability, like Aave, because for me, Aave is basically the JP Morgan of DeFi.
What? So Aave, he just said that Aave is basically the JP Morgan of DeFi. Let me show you all how ahead of the curve we are here at CYPRX. Okay, so again, if you guys want free information, head over to the CYPRX YouTube, tap into the public yield playlist, watch these video breakdowns thoroughly. Now, in the private CYPRX Discord, one of our head mentors in the Wealth 28 Club hosts weekly Wednesday Zoom calls for our private Discord community members. Here is his entire playlist right here. He records these video breakdowns for anybody in our private community to watch, and he has created a profitable strategy utilizing Aave. All right. Now, again, we're not telling you guys to go out there and utilize the Aave platform, but every single week, one of our DeFi mentors hops on Zoom calls with the private community and shows how he is generating yield and utilizing the platform Aave in a profitable way. Even during this market downturn, even during the market pump, one of our CYPRX mentors in the Wealth 28 Club has been able to utilize the Aave platform profitable both in up, down, and sideways markets, and physically shows our private community how he is doing exactly that. Again, if you want this education, the information is there for you guys. This is a private playlist that is accessible in our Discord. And again, one of our CYPRX mentors hosts these Zoom calls weekly. Look at some of the comments that our private community members made. Skyward said, last night's call included a mic drop on how to pay down Aave loans from a loan itself using switching or a switching method. Still blowing my mind that one of our mentors figured this out. Then another individual went on to say, you are a genius, talking about one of our mentors. I have to apply by practicing that way of the loan back by switching and riding the downtrend. So much information here that I have not enough hours to go through it all. Again, I'm physically proving to you all that we are ahead of the vast majority of the retail crowd here at CYPRX. Everybody's still so fixated on price predictions and and where XRP is going to go in the next 5 to 10 years. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Why? Because we're not going to sell our XRP, or at least a certain portion of it we're not going to sell, because I got to say, I admit that I'm going to sell a certain portion of my XRP for some fiat to buy myself some nice stuff, right? But I'd say about 80% of my bags I'm going to hold on to. I'm going to utilize them to participate in DeFi and generate me yield and literally retire off my digital asset yield generation portfolio. Okay. And if you don't have that mindset, I'm telling you guys right now, just educate yourself on the possibilities that you have right now in the moment to generate yield with your digital assets, and it will blow your mind. Now, if you don't want to sacrifice your hard-earned crypto, right, you don't have to. You can still just join a like-minded community and do the research, do the due diligence, watch educational video breakdowns and materials. So that way, when this financial transformation happens, you have the educational backing to go out there and generate yield, right? The whole entire time, think about it, for the next 5 years, you've just been studying and digesting information and accumulating knowledge. And then when the time is right, when regulations are in play and you're comfortable to do so, to take the risk and deploy into DeFi, you can do so because you have the educational backing and the power of knowledge behind you. That is what's important right now, not going out there and taking the risk, but going out there and furthering your education, people. Oh my, wow. I cannot believe what I just showed you guys. Again, as always, bringing you all the realest information. Do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform. Do not fade the info that I just showed you guys if you made it to the end of this video breakdown. Like this video, share this video with a friend or family member, wake people up and let them know that a financial transformation is happening, and they are broadly telling you guys this on stage directly to your face. Anybody that ignores the information that I just shared with you guys after watching this video breakdown, again, teach his own. Look around you. Who's in your circle? Who are you gathering information from? Because the vast majority of information on the internet right now is used to manipulate and distract you. As always, many blessings to you guys. None of this is financial advice. We're not telling you guys to go out there and deploy in the DeFi ecosystem by any means. We do not trust any of these platforms. We understand that this space is still heavily unregulated, but at the end of the day, that does not mean that an individual should ignore their education and start to learn about this information. Bottom line, that is what we are projecting here at CYPRX. As always, be cognizant, be aware out there, and I'll see you guys in the next video breakdown.